Last year, LEGO Rivendell gave us our first Lord of the Rings minifig style set in a decade. Now, today is an exciting day because we're finally getting the highly anticipated Barad-Dur. That's right, LEGO has announced the impending release of that set on June 1st. So of course we are here to provide the excellent quality breakdowns that you expect. Breakdowns of the minifigs, the pieces, the building techniques, and ultimately the value of the set. Now at the end, I'm going to tell you why there's one big reason that I think this set will not do as well as Rivendell. But let's go ahead and dive in. This set is massive. It's 32.6 inches tall, 83 centimeters, and has a very wide base of about 17.5 inches from side to side. The depth is almost 12 inches. So in terms of depth, it might fit well on a shelf, but of course the height, 32 inches, almost 3 feet, that's gonna be really tough. With nearly 5,500 pieces and 10 minifigs, the cost is nearly as large at $460. In addition to the tower, you get this mini build of Frodo and Sam on the plains of Gorgoroth with the option of placing some orc helmets on top, which I think are fantastic, and those are new molds. I'm really excited for those. And the set is so big, you can split it up into multiple sections like you see right here. And it makes it so much easier to move, and as they note in the press release, you could buy additional versions if the $460 just isn't enough for you to add more height to the set. Now, as you can see with this back image right here, you only get the front half of the tower, but more on that later. LEGO building techniques have certainly evolved since Orthanc was released in 2013. This set certainly epitomizes the modern building techniques that incorporate lots of snot work and angles. I'll show you what I mean. So let's start with talking about some snot techniques. And I think it's important, of course, to talk about the eye. It's the defining feature of the set. And of course, you've got this light brick right here that allows you to shine the light on the eye and make it glow. Now, there's a lot of really interesting techniques here. Let's start with the candles. The black candles we see right here, those are going to span across the back with a Technic mechanism connected right here. Now, the benefit of that is that this eye can actually rotate all the way around front to back, which is really cool. And you can get a little bit, I think, maybe of some angle if you zoom in here, a little bit of angle, maybe turning this piece to get a little bit of left to right movement there. Now, the techniques to build this are fantastic. A lot of snot work, and you've got these bright light orange tooth pieces here, and then you've got these 1x6 mud guards in bright light yellow right there. Now, then you've got this stuff right here that allows you to build in opposite directions. Check it out. We've got, it looks like 1x2 rounded Technic plates. We've got a bar that runs right through here that connects them in place at the top and at the bottom. And the benefit of that is now you can start building studs out going this way right here, and you can do this way right here. And the snot work doesn't just end with the eye. Like, you've got everything in this top section right here, the very top, that's going to be snot work. You've got these arches right here that are topped by 1x2 tiles. You've got more underneath here that gives you this nice horizontal platform that you can then build on top of. Then you've got these wedge bricks right here that are going to allow you to get some angles for the top close to the eye, and some snot work right here. And notice the different shading that they have going on with these pieces right here. So a combination of black and some brownish and orangish colors there at the top. As we move down the tower, you can see more and more of the snot work at play. So we've got this 8 stud wide shell that comes in along the sides right here in dark blay. So that's going to provide the spine of the set, if you will. Then you've got these different components on the side that are added on after the fact. And you can tell we've got these bracket pieces right here that are going to allow for some snot work to connect these side walls that provide the angles with the bow slopes right here all the way throughout this part of the set. It also allows you to put various clips on there to attach creations like this. So this is a nice little wing pattern that is on both sides, and again, connected via snot work. And we've got this fantastic 1x3 inverted arch. It's one of my favorite pieces that come in right there on both sides of the building. Now you've also got some play features intermingled with this, as you have this podium right here that is connected to a mechanism at the base that when you spin it, moves this ladder. It's kind of hard to see, but it moves this ladder from left to right on the interior right there. Now, one of the more interesting building techniques that I see in this section of the set is this wraparound right here. It goes all the way around the perimeter of the set. And what you've got is, it looks like there's some hinge bricks there and hinge plates right here. And then you're able to put snot bricks at the top facing up and at the bottom facing down. A better way we can see this is looking at the front side, where you've got these grill plates that are going all the way around, and the different segments with the, looks like hinge plates, and you've got the double cheese slopes on the bottom, which provide some great texture. You've got the grill plates, and then you've got these spike pieces all the way around the perimeter here. Now, another element that I really like of this set on the exterior is that it's not just building a canister. The Saturn V is multiple canisters stacked on top of one another. This is going to be a little bit different because they add in these window cutouts right here, and then more snot techniques here and more windows right here on the side. So all of these different techniques come into play that add dimension to the set and more complexity, which is just a fantastic detail. In particular, I really like how they intermingle this right here. Notice you've got the brackets right there to get some more of the snot work. And of course, these macaroni tiles look great there, and more of those inverted 1x3 arches in black right there. Again, love those pieces. This image here does a nice job of showing some of the more interior details right here. And I like what we've got. So we have these large quarter round panel pieces here. It's very similar to the large Hogwarts castle. Plenty of stickers on the interior that are going to provide some character and Easter eggs. We've got Frodo's Mithril shirt right here that is taken from him when he goes into Cirith Ungol. And then we've got this little podium. I guess Sauron, or the mouth of Sauron, likes to write letters. Who knew? But we also have this connection point right here. So we're going to see in a later image how they have some Technic connecting rods coming up. The Technic axle goes in right here at this juncture to hold this top part into place. Moving our way down the tower, you can see the connection point that I just mentioned right here with these Technic rods. And then you've got the axle that comes in right there. So a great way to provide structural support. Now, this is where we start seeing a little bit of a change in the building approach. Notice that we have these rocks that spiral around the set right here. There's a dividing line. I'm going to show you this when I look at the front, but there's a dividing line in terms of how the snot techniques are incorporated. Above this line, in the sections we just looked at, you have the entire outside encased with snot techniques. Below that line, you have more of a mixture of studs on top, like you can see right here. You can see the verticality of the pieces right here, and then plenty of other snot techniques, like you can see with this rock work itself right here. Now, I want to show you the back side of this because it's got some interesting play features, as well as some good views of how the rocks are put together. First, let's take a look at the rocks. This is a lot of technicality right here. So notice we've got studs on top going this way, studs going this way here. And on this side here, you've got studs going out to the side, and even this angle right out over here, which looks fantastic. At the same time, you're using some of these really cool bracket pieces here to get this all connected in and all the different chaotic angles that make sense for a tower such as Barad-Dur. On the interior, this is the throne room for Sauron, and you can take this ball joint right here, and if you pull it out, the throne opens up to reveal the palantir that he uses to communicate with Saruman. Now, the throne itself looks like a fantastic mini build. Lots of combination of studs on top with some of these bar pieces right here, and then some snot work right there with, of course, spiky black pieces right here, moving up the side to make it sufficiently evil looking. I love how they do that. A lot of attention to detail. And of course, these stickered banners right here. By the way, lots of stickers in this set, similar to Rivendell, maybe more stickers here though, which I know will disappoint some fans, but it's part of modern Lego sets. Going to the front of the section allows you to see the spiraling nature of this stonework right here, but the differentiation below. Notice we've got the grill bricks and a lot of the typical studs on top here with some snot work here, but everything above it is much more snot based. And so rounded, not as angled, and very different feel. I love that because what you're gonna get are two very different feeling sections and builds that are going to be different in technique and style. And below this, I mean, look at this. You've got a lot of these grill bricks right here, some conventional studs not on top, so snot work right here for some of the buttressing to add structural support, as well as using wedge plates right here. But really, not a lot of the same techniques. And I love that you're getting some variation. Fantastic eye for detail in terms of the building experience, so you don't end up with a repetitive build. And then you get to the entrance, which has lots of different techniques used for it. I love how they just make it look so chaotic and so organized. Here we've got your columns that are using snot work, and here we've got columns that are buttressing the exterior that are built with more conventional standard techniques. And then we've got the gate entrance, which is kind of a mixture, some snot work at the base, some studs on top going up there, and then more snot work at the very top of that. We get more of a feel of the angles of this set as we look at the bottom two levels, especially from the back of it. So you can see angles right here using hinge plates to separate things out. So nice use of angles as well as snot techniques throughout. Now this of course complicates the build. Anytime you incorporate angles, you have to think about how you're going to connect everything else to it. And so they do a nice job of making it a seamless transition. You've got these 1x4 groove bricks right here that allow you to slide in the next section. And then this, I think, is going to allow you to clip that section in for additional support. You, of course, have these structural components right here, this beam with the 2x6 and 2x2 tiles in light gray. And then scattered throughout this side, you've got a tray of 1x3 tiles that allow you to rest the next section on there. So very strong in terms of support. It's not going to go anywhere because you've got both the door rail pieces, and then it's not going to slide out because you've got that bar that you're able to clip the next section into. If you take a look at it from this angle, you can see what's on the menu. Well, meat's back on the menu. Great Easter egg for that. And of course, not that we have any sort of canon that says there was or was not a cafeteria in there, but a nice use of space, allowing you to have some fun with the set. Now, of course, looking at the back, they do have a variety of pullouts. So you've got this right here. You can tell there's something that you can pull out because of the way they've got this inverted slope and then the slopes right here. And then you can see they've got tile work here, and then you've got something right here that's going to allow you to pull that out. And of course, and this is going to be where you've got the directions for how to make the rings to deceive the men and elves who receive the various rings of power. Now over here, we've got another pullout, which has a spider. We all know that Sauron loves his spiders. Now the bottom level right here is a fantastic combination of angles and snot work and play features. We've got this dungeon right here that has this poor skeleton in a cage that can be raised and lowered using this Technic gear right there. And then you've got another mechanism. You can see it a little bit right here that allows you to turn the mechanism to open the doors. You can see that a little bit better right here on this section. Here's the tooth piece in Technic right there, the Technic mechanism that runs all the way across there, and how it's connecting to over here, which then comes to the doors. And then you've got this little stairway coming down in from the entryway right here. And then you've got plenty of accessories here. So check it out. We've got some new shields. We've got some helmets. These are, I think, the helmets that Frodo and Sam can wear. You've got these shoulder pad pieces right here that are brand new in pearl gold. So get those for the first time. And lots of other nougat colored pieces, dark orange, dark tan, just a lot of different shades of rock work that break up all of the blackness. I can see that LEGO really wanted to pay attention to how many black pieces were used on the exterior of the set. Now, one other shout out I want to give to the building techniques is this column right here. So immediately on the interior, we are getting some really interesting snot techniques. Zooming in, you can see we've got these 2x4 double slopes, 33 degrees. And at the top, we've got the bracket pieces, you can see right here, and then even right here, that allow you to then connect it to this archway that comes up right over here. So a really nice job of configuring the interior here with the design to make it different, to stand out a bit more from just a usual stacking bricks on top of one another. The last thing I'll mention in terms of the building techniques is, as we work all the way down to the bottom of the set, is the base itself, which is a lot of dark clay bricks. You can see it from both the back and the front here, combined with a lot of these 2x2 wedge bricks in medium nougat, lots of dark orange, dark red tiling, transparent tiles right there, as well as the entrance. And you can see the doors a little bit better right there. I love the entrance, how they've got a lot of architecture. Even though it's black and it kind of all blends in at some point, it all looks really nice when you put it together. Yes, this is one massive black tower, but that doesn't mean there aren't intriguing pieces. There's quite a bit here that piqued my curiosity when looking over the pictures. So speaking of these medium nougat 2x2 wedge bricks, it's the third time we're getting this piece in a set, and we get more in this set than all other previous sets combined. They're used all over the place on this particular set. I mentioned earlier, we have the new orc helmets that are used right here and shields that are in this forge area. We're also getting, check it out, these 2x1x3 75-degree inverted slope pieces right here, and that's going to be the second time we're getting this piece. The first time was in one of those classic sets from last year that just have a bunch of bricks and slopes and inverted slopes in it. So the first time we're getting a minifig set with this piece in it. As we move up the building, you can see we've got these scroll bricks in dark clay, and you might think these are pretty common, but it's only the fourth time we're getting scroll bricks in dark clay. We get four of them, at least four of them in the set, one in the mouth of Sauron's chambers, as well as above that over here where we have the ladder and some of the other documentation and archives for Sauron. At the very top, we've got some really cool pieces. I love these dual molded rubbery pieces right here. I think those are brand new for the first time. And of course, these bright light yellow or the cool yellow mud guards in 1x6. It's the third time we're getting those pieces in a LEGO set. In addition to all those pieces, as I zoom down here, you can see there's so many useful pieces in black, light blade, dark tan, medium nougat, and dark orange throughout the set. So many useful pieces that if you were to take this apart and piece it in your collection, you can do a lot of things with all of the bricks. All right, let's talk minifigs. There are 10 minifigs in this set, and there are, of course, some that are much, much more interesting than others. We'll start with some of the less interesting minifigs. Here we've got Frodo and Sam, both of whom are not unique to this particular set because it looks like they are copies from the Rivendell set, including the double-sided faces. This is the one that Frodo has in Rivendell, same with Sam. Now, the only difference between these minifigs and the ones in Rivendell, as best I can tell, is these are missing the cloaks. Of course, you can add the orc helmets to them, so that might be a little bit of a way to vary things up, but it is a little disappointing that we aren't getting brand new Frodo and Sam, but I get what LEGO's doing here. Now, Gollum is new from what he was in the last iteration about a decade ago. The big difference that I can see from then to now really is with the eyes, much rounded, more cartoon-like, which looks a little bit more vicious actually than the old version of him. Now in this set, we do get quite a few orcs. We get 4 orcs. Here's one of them right here, a green orc, and he has his own torso. He shares a printed leg piece with the other green orc, same with the head and the dual molded hair piece. Now, of course, one of the stars of the set is the mouth of Sauron. Now, this, I think, is an upgrade from the original Mouth of Sauron we received about a decade ago. As much as I love that minifig, in fact, that minifig, my favorite minifig that I own, this one is even better. Why? Because it's got a little bit more printing detail on the torso and on the legs, which helps. But one of the big differences, and I know it's subtle to a lot of people, is with the helmet. So if you see the area where his mouth is here, the old one has just kind of a smooth angle coming down. This one uses the various curves and notches in the helmet, which is more accurate to the film's depiction of the Mouth of Sauron. This is really cool. I love this minifig. Here we have the other 5 minifigs, including the second green orc, which has a different printing on the torso, same leg, head, and hair piece as the other one. We have 2 red orcs that are a little bit different. This one has a clearly different torso than the other one right here, so it's nice that we get different torsos for all of the orcs. The leg printing of these 2 looks to be the same, as do the heads. The difference, of course, being this one's got a red bandana, this one's got an orc helmet. Now, of course, one of the surprise stars of the set is Gothmog. Now, I love this character in the movies, and I think they did a real nice job with him in this particular set. Unique leg printing right here, brand new. I think the torso also is brand new, but check out, we've got, yes, the different arms. So we've got the armored arm right here, and then we've got the bare arm on the left side. So that's really cool, and this armor piece is fantastic. The head print also just shows the requisite scarring and injuries that he has as a minifig. And the snarl is there as well. It's just a fantastic, fantastic minifig. But of course, the star of the show is Sauron himself. Now, this might be a little bit controversial because I think fans might have been hoping for a more imposing Sauron compared to the rest of the minifigs. The only way you get the imposing feel of Sauron in this form is with the helmet, which is fantastic. My only critique would be it could be a little bit more angled in, but they do a really nice job with this. They do a fantastic job with the shoulder armoring as well. I don't know what the head looks like. You can probably find some pictures of that from people that already have the set, but I'm guaranteeing you that it's a brand new head. They're doing a good job with this. And then the printing is so detailed, so well done. Look at the connection between the torso and the legs. You can see how it ties in so nicely on both sides of the minifig right there. Perhaps the only shift that people would want to see in the minifig would be to have the tall legs like you would get with Woody or the new Madame Maxime minifig that's coming out in the Triwizard Tournament Arrival set in Harry Potter. But I think you would end up with a very scrawny Sauron if you did that. The only way you could make that work is if you had some additional armor to the minifig that would fit over the torso, similar to Gothmog. So let's talk value, and this is something that I am grappling with. Now, first of all, there is no doubt that there is display value with this set. It is massive. It's the 32-inch tall tower that everyone is going to recognize if they have ever seen Lord of the Rings and the movies. The eye just makes it so distinctive, and of course, the sufficiently evil look of the set just screams Lord of the Rings, Sauron, Barad-Dur. And I think that's a great part of this. Now, the drawback, of course, is the ability to actually display it somewhere in your residence. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem that people have with display value. There's also subjective value. And by this, it's obviously not something we can easily define empirically, but there is an element to this set that people that are not the traditional LEGO fans are going to want it. It's just like Rivendell. People who are Lord of the Rings fans see that. It's iconic, it's instantly recognizable, and therefore they're going to be more attracted to the set and possibly even buy it. So LEGO is taking a risk, adding on to the bet that the people that got Rivendell are going to be interested in this set, and if you had the disposable income for Rivendell, then you might just have the disposable income for Barad-Dur. And they make a very nice pairing. The goodness of Rivendell, the evil of Barad-Dur. But there is an issue with this set. And no, it's not that you only get the front half of the tower. If that's your criticism, I just want to make it clear that what you were hoping for was for $460, a fully enclosed 32-inch tower. Like, that's not realistic. And if you did get a fully enclosed tower, by the way, it would be 14 inches, 16 inches tall. And you would be then disappointed with the lack of height, and it wouldn't look like Barad-Dur. So I think LEGO made a trade-off here. Instead of giving us a $900 set, they gave us a $460 set, and we're just gonna have to live with it being the front half. And personally, I'm okay with that. Rather, for me, the problem is similar to what I experienced with the Medieval Town Square, and that is it followed up on an absolutely incredible set, one of the few sets that I would give a 10 out of 10 to, and in that case it was following up on the Lion Knight's Castle. In this case, Barad-Dur is following up on Rivendell. And Rivendell is so iconic, and there's a big contrast with the appeal of Rivendell versus the appeal of Barad-Dur. Now, if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, you don't care that you have a massive hulking black tower. If you are a more casual Lord of the Rings fan and a huge LEGO fan, you might. Whereas you might be drawn to Rivendell because of all the different colors and all of the different components to that set that just scream contrast, with the gazebo to the stonework to the actual residence and where the Council of Elrond takes place. I get that. This is not going to be that. Now, you should have known, knowing Lord of the Rings, that you were getting a big black tower with Barad-Dur, but I can understand that some people may not like this as much as Rivendell. And I think that's the big reason why this set won't do as well as Rivendell. Now, that is purely conjecture, but just my take as a longtime LEGO fan, longtime LEGO collector, is that the variation in color scheme, the brightness, and different components of Rivendell that stand out are different from those in Barad-Dur, which I think will help Rivendell. The other issue is aligned with that, and that is, if you don't have Rivendell, for $40 extra, going from $460 to $500, you get 400 additional pieces, 11 minifigs more, 4.5 statues more than what you get with Barad-Dur. And in some ways, I actually think Rivendell might be the better value, understanding that there are a lot of 1x1 tiles in Rivendell to help create the effect of the roof. Barad-Dur doesn't give you that same pop for the money, although the price per piece ratio is fantastic. And you certainly get a substantive build with substantial pieces, because you're not just getting a bunch of 1x1 tiles. So it gives you good monetary value. I think it gives you good display value. It gives you good subjective value. And for that reason, I think this is not just an impressive set, it's an incredible set. And I can't wait to save up my money and buy this and build it with the family and enjoy looking at Barad-Dur and learning something about how to build with LEGO and interacting with that and the Rivendell that we have. So in the end, I'm super excited for this set. Can't wait for June 1st. Really hoping that we can get in line in time to get the set on day one. Hey, if you learned something while watching this video, something that would help you determine whether or not to buy the set, or something about building techniques or pieces, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss any more of our future breakdowns. Before we head out, why don't you watch one of these videos over here? Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.